Green Lantern New Guardian number 26, written by Justin Jordan, art by Brad Walker and Geraldo Borges. So, this is the second part of whatever this arc is, where Kyle, Carol, and a bunch of the Guardians went to a planet called Exurus. It is a paradise planet, but it turns out it's only a paradise because they were ripping the good things out of other timelines. And so one of those bad timelines went through the portal and started their attack. So we open up with the bad version of one of the guys called Nyas, which I'm just going to call him Nyas, and the good one will be Good Nyas. So we see Kyle goes and starts to attack Nyas, and turns out that because this planet is a paradise planet and there's this like computer thing that's running everything, it actually stops him from hitting Nyas. And it says, yeah, no, you can't hit us because of everything still in place here. So he's like, all right, fair enough, but let me try something else instead. And like, let me throw more power at it. And the Guardians come in and are just like, no, Kyle, you don't understand. Like the structure, the program in place, it only has enough power to withstand so much. If you keep pushing here, people will start getting hurt out there, and you can't do that. And Kyle's like, all right, fine, whatever. So he just contains Nyas and the other bad people coming through the timeline. And that's where we see that Nyas has found some ways around the structure. And he says, yeah, I can't throw a punch, but I can press this button. And he presses the button, and the spear that he threw through the other person before explodes. And Kyle's like, no, Jesus Christ, no, that's awful. So at that point, the Carol and Kyle are like, all right, Carol, go take care of things out there. Make sure everyone is staying safe. Get them away from here. And then we're all going to get ready and we're going to fight against this incoming horde. And we see Nyas is essentially like, oh, this isn't going to be a fight. This is going to be a smackdown. And he sends out all the rest of these people from the bad timeline and starts attacking them. So through the portal comes the bad version of the old guy who was killed. And frankly, I can't remember his name. I'm sure it'll pop up later, but he's like, hey, yeah, you wanted me through here so that I can see all of their like equations and stuff for the structure, and I can alter it so that we're able to win this. And Nyas is like, yep, go ahead, get on that. So at this point, we see up in the sky, like the structure is showing all of these different timelines that have completely fallen apart and are being destroyed. And it turns out that because of the way they're pushing the structure, it's essentially folded over itself into 4D space, blah, blah, blah. Barely makes any sense. So Kyle manages to rally the troops. He gets up. He starts attacking Nyas and all the other people. Carol's begging for help, but nothing's going to come because they're more focused on that. We see the Guardians are essentially trying to talk to the good Nyas and say, hey, like, what can we do here? You got to help us out. This is like your society's thing. So all in all, it's just the fight continues on. Kyle's primary focus is against Nyas, who is able to use his own version of the technology and the structure to fight against Kyle's constructs. And the basic battle between them verbally is coming down to they want this universe because they believe it rightfully belongs to them because it was stuff taken from their timeline, as well as millions of others, but specifically theirs as well. And they, like, Kyle's like, okay, but you're going to kill them to do that. That doesn't make you any better than them. And he's like, yes, it does. I'm killing the monsters. I'm killing the bad people. Isn't that pretty much what you do? Like, it's essentially the same thing. So it's this battle of beliefs there on that side. And then we keep on saying, like, all right, fine, if you're not going to let me kill them, I'm going to tear down their paradise. So we see the rest of them continue on, and Nyas goes up and talks to the evil version of his grandfather or whatever, and he basically says, like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that our people did this to your timeline. I'm sorry that all this happened. And the evil version of the grandfather is like, yeah, this isn't what I expected. Like, when we crossed over, we expected you all to be this, like, horrific race of monsters that could do such terrible things to us in our timeline. But we get here and you're just people, like peaceful people. Like, that doesn't, my worldview is kind of shattering here. And he realizes, and like also, we came here, we thought it was going to be like a holy victory. We were going to come here and kill all of you, but now it doesn't feel so right. So yeah, no, I'm not all on board with this. So we see that the evil version of the old guy, whatever his name may be, essentially flips the equations around and makes it so that the portals are shut down. There's no more reinforcements coming, and all of the technology that Nyas was using fed back to like a server over there, so it stops basically protecting him. And Kyle sees the little pad he's been pushing on his wrist in order to control all the tech, and he just smashes it. He's like, I didn't punch you, I punched the computer. The structure doesn't have a problem with that. So now this version of Nyas has no power at all, so he just goes in and he's like trying to punch Kyle, but of course he's unable to. And Kyle puts him into a construct and says, hey, I want you to look at this. And he goes outside where all this destruction has been, and already the structure starts rebuilding itself. And he's like, look at these people. These people who lived here are caring for your soldiers. They are trying to pick them up as if they were one and the same. You came here to destroy, but, you know, it's the Dark Knight. Not everyone deep down is as sick as you. So at this point, the grandfather stands up and he's like, I don't know what to do. We never wanted to destroy things. How can we make this better? And he's like, build them back up. Help them fix things. But more importantly here, and he tells this to Nyas, you need to take this technology, go back through to every single timeline that you stole from, and share the technology with them. There's no reason you couldn't have done that in the first place. You just put out, like, you took from them and you never intended to give back. Give back now and then shut the portals and never do it again. And Nyas is like, okay. And Kyle explicitly puts out there, and you better do it or I will come back and take care of things, and you won't like the way I do that. So Kyle flies off, as do the Guardians and Carol. And Carol's like, hey, you were never really one to lay down ultimatums like that. That was never your thing before. What's up? And Kyle's like, well, I've got all this power. I'm literally the White Lantern. Like, if the things aren't going to get better, then maybe I should take some initiative. Maybe I should be proactive in fixing things. If I have to be the one that lays down the law, so be it. And as Kyle flies off, we see some of the Guardians talking, and they say, yeah, we brought Kyle here to Exurus to see if he was ready, but he's not. And the one guy who looked into Kyle's mind like 3 issues ago says, beyond the source wall, he saw it, he doesn't remember it, but they are coming, and he is not ready. So something's beyond the source wall, and it's coming for the universe, and blah, blah, blah. We'll see what happens there. All in all, I'm kind of disappointed because I was really praising this last time because I was really intrigued in this idea of, you know, going through different timelines and taking basically just the good decisions and making them their own thing. But I feel like we didn't do anything with it. You know, I didn't feel like we explored that as deeply as we could, like the implications to it. Mind you, I do like the idea of this other universe seeing them as like monsters and they get here and it's not. That's also a creative idea. I don't know. I just feel like neither of them were explored as deeply as they could have been. We probably should have just focused on the one, and then the other one is like whatever. But yeah, no, it's a creative concept. I do feel like this is kind of just the middle bit to a larger story. Maybe not even the middle bit. It feels like the early setup to a larger story. So we'll see where all we get. But in the end, I think this is probably just a flat 7. It's not fantastic, but it's not a bad issue either. It is kind of confusing to read at parts because you have duplicates of everybody running around, but context clues give you a lot if you pay attention to them. So it's not that bad. But yeah, 7's where it fits.